Okay. Video is back. Radio has been on. We've been talking about the 2-year-old filly Pace coming up as they are parading. But before we send you out to the parade, let us first show you the field. Inside out, we got Lion Sentinel, along with Alicorn, Priceless, New Year, Lady Lou, Looks Good in a Romper, Marlowe Hanover, Reflect With Me, Baby You're the Best, Should Have Been a TD. Elimination winners here, Lion Sentinel drawing post 1, Priceless drawing post 3. Another note to make about this race, since we have Wi-Fi, reliable Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi that will not be going out anytime soon, it is a great time to bring up another sponsor helping us make this possible, make this hellish presentation allowable. Scores and Stats. Scores and Stats, of course, a website where you can go and get picks from experts. How exactly does it work? I will tell you how it works with my magical voice and my magical information that I do not have written on a script. Scores and Stats, everyone knows, it's a sports site. It's a sports information site with last-minute sports odds, results, schedules, team information, sports news. This is just some of the things. And useful information. There's useful information. Look at all this useful information over at scoresandstats.com. We got Raiders versus Texan preview. We have Wizards versus Thunder. There's Trailblazers versus Kings. I remember growing up as a little boy, I wondered, what would it look like if Mavericks faced off against Pelicans? Well, Scores and Stats will help you figure that out. And you can visit scoresandstats.com for all your sports information and handicapping needs. Direct links are available online to top trusted online sports books for you to get in your sports wagers. That again is at scoresandstats.com, helping us provide coverage of race 7 here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. That should stay live the entire time. This upcoming race, the 2-year-old filly Pace. Okay, so Mikey, we were talking on the radio about how Lion Sentinel makes or breaks the race. Because I understand the idea that, if Priceless guns for the front, she could have the speed to go all the way. But also, too, someone would have to challenge her, right? It's a $700,000 race. They aren't just going to let her get away with soft fractions. If Priceless gets the lead, no matter what, Lion Sentinel is coming first over.
Right.
And then what happens from there, I know, you've been all over New Year, who's currently on the board at 9-2.
Yeah, and it's a fair price. She's going to get a trip. We know what kind of trip she's getting in the race. She's going to sit and make her move late, hope the other ones battle it out, and she's going to be the one that has the best kick. So, there's no mystery in what she's going to do in the race. You're not going to see her early. You're going to see, the 3 Priceless. You might see Alicorn. You're going to see Lion Sentinel mixing it up. Maybe some of these outside horses leave. I mean, that's really their only chance. They need to be moving early. A horse like, Marlowe Hanover, Reflect With Me, has done well at this racetrack. Baby You're the Best is another one that likes to be close to the front. She's, there's going to be company up there. They're not just going to let this 1 and 3 dominate this race. They've been mixing it up all night long. If you're going to get 4.5 to 1 on the 4 horse, you need to take it.
I was talking on the radio about how I was talking with Jay Bergman about this. He thinks Reflect With Me does gun. He thinks she goes to the front, but I feel like her best shot here, given the potential pace setup, is if she sits off the speed, because she can kick home as good as the rest of them. And she's also currently on the board at 18-1. And in all honesty, I'm just trying to find some other prices that could be sitting off the speed, because New Year at 9-2 to me seems just a little low.
Okay, what about Alicorn? I mean, you're getting 8-1 on Alicorn.
You're getting 8-1 on Alicorn.
I do feel like she's coming off the pace in this race. I mean, she's won off the pace in the past. She has a big chance if she sits and tries to one punch like she's done previously. You don't know what Wa's going to do. last week this horse was up close, was a huge favorite, and got picked off late. Maybe it's time to sit off a little bit with this horse and then try to come. You're getting 8-1. I prefer 8-1 on Alicorn than 19-1 on Reflect With Me. So, but I do feel like these outside horses are going to go early. I don't agree that 9-2 is too short a price on New Year. I think it's a fair price and one that probably could be expected off a horse that won last time. Rod, where you at?
I'm here. I'm on Priceless still. She's my single in the pick 5. I love that race. I think she raced extremely well, and she is in top form as long as she stays flat. She proved last week that she's as faster than everything in here. Had a ton left in that elimination there, and she's extremely confident. I'm sticking with her. I think she's in another good spot here, and she's just got to be able to stay flat to win this race.
You pointed at Alicorn at 8-1, and I just can't stop looking at it. That might actually be the bet in this race, because I understand Walk and push off the gate, but in the past, when Alicorn has pushed off the gate, he's also let other horses go. And if Priceless comes up alongside to challenge her, he might just let her go and just sit. The issue then is, will she get out? That's what also makes a second over trip seem much more appealing in this spot, because there's less traffic troubles potentially. But in terms of odds, I know Alicorn is a capable horse. I know she can win this race with the right setup. I know New Year can win this race on the right setup. So I'd rather take 8-1 on a horse that can win off a similar setup. Is it a more likely setup? It's tough to tell.
But New Year ran Alicorn over last week, so that's why you're getting half the price.
The Wi-Fi is being wonky again.
I didn't have very much luck with that Breeders' Crown Wi-Fi, by the way.
Oh, we've had more luck here than we had any other.
Just switched to the other one.
Well, so far so good. Coming up next in 35 seconds, do note we are on a delay. We are on, I can give you the exact amount of time. 13-second delay. It's more than that now. It's like 14 seconds because we had a little bit of a jump there. Final for the 2-year-old Pacing Fillies coming up next. 6-5 favorite, the 1 Lion Sentinel. Second choice at 9-5, the 3 Priceless. Mike's a fan. Well, Mike, you're not just a fan. You put your money on New Year, I imagine. And she's 5-1.
Yeah, I'll take that.
I like Alicorn at 9-1, in all honesty, from this spot. 10-1 now. This is getting better.
And Rod is on the 3 Priceless.
But to be fair, him and Brandon are best buddies also. That's fine. I'd like to see Brandon win this race too. It's always fun to see good guys win here. As the horses are lining up. Our coverage of race 7, the 2-year-old Pacing Filly final of the Breeders' Crown for $786,000, presented by Scores and Stats. Full field of 10 moving into line. Field behind the gate. Now down to even money, the 1 Lion Sentinel. Priceless up at 2-1. Gate swings into the stretch. 2-year-old Pacing Fillies approaching the start. They're off in pacing. Priceless from the inside leaves out, while Lady Lou goes on a gallop towards the center. Outside of Priceless, New Year secures the pocket as Lion Sentinel backs into third ahead of Alicorn, ducking to fourth. Fifth away, then moving to the first turn, looks good in a romper inside of Marlowe. Hanover away sixth. Back seventh to the turn, Reflect With Me, leading Baby You're the Best towards the first quarter. They're then followed by Should Have Been a TD second to last, and after the early break, Lady Lou trails through a 26-4 opening quarter. quarter. Entering the backstretch, Lion Sentinel now pulls from third for Tetrick, and the even money favorite ranging up towards Priceless, who gains separation on New Year, coming towards 3/8. Then a gap of 3.5 lengths to Alicorn racing fourth. Ahead of Looks Good in a Romper, still fifth. Marlowe Hanover looking to flush some cover from sixth, ahead of Reflect With Me, also jonesing for a flow seventh. Eighth, then towards the back of the pack comes Baby You're the Best, should have been a TD, still ninth. Lady Lou trails through a 53 and 3/2, 26 and 4 again for that second quarter. To the far turn, Bates with a stranglehold on Priceless. She's locked in the pocket as New Year flushes first over. On cover now, Alicorn to 3/4. She moves up into fourth, shuffling Marlowe Hanover to the inside. Third over in the flow then, Looks Good in a Romper as Baby You're the Best is locked in by Reflect With Me. Towards the back of the pack, should have been a TD, and Lady Lou trails 3/4 up in 122 and 1. Lion Sentinel turns into the stretch, leads here by a length and a quarter. Priceless looks for room to the inside. New Year outside, looking to envelop the favorite coming into the eighth pole. Lion Sentinel holding the lead, but down the center, Reflect With Me shows speed. Marlowe Hanover with room, two splitting horses late. Lion Sentinel, here's Marlowe Hanover finding room, and Reflect With Me to the outside, lunging after the favorite, and Reflect With Me up in time from Marlowe Hanover, and Lion Sentinel in 150 and 3. Would we like to make another case of Ray as a dumb idiot jerk? Remember I said Reflect With Me would come from off the pace, and I'm like, no, Alicorn. There's the connection to Reflect With Me. $27-1 over $55-1 over even money. That's back-to-back wins for Andrew McCarthy. I would be so much better if I just did not overthink things. We're live. I have the stream going. It's running. But how about the fact, I was saying the entire time, Lion Sentinel messes the race up. She either has to go or sit back. She chooses to sit back and then go. And then Andrew McCarthy down the center of the track. That's not only back-to-back wins for McCarthy, that's back-to-back wins for Alanya. They upset in the Philly trot with Ramona Hill, and they upset again with Reflect With Me. Swung off cover, straightening for the finish, and just kept rolling.
He's not on. He's not on.
They say hold all tickets, but 8-1. Oh, 8-1-7. Lion Sentinel held second. Yeah. That's my bad. 8-1-7-4, the unofficial top four here. So 27-1 over even money, over 55-1. We're 5-1. That was a really good race. They've been great races so far.
Less than 2-1 against Priceless last time. Came flying against the racetrack. So and now you get 27-1. So I mean, another one that actually could have been had. You have to have two prices in two of these races. And the horses that were bet last week and ignored this week. So the track is very even. The horses getting the best trips are winning. The four really, first up into this fractions, that was a difficult race. I thought the horse raced extremely well.
She did.
But not quite. She wasn't going to win coming first up in a 53 half. Just not going to happen.
New Year probably races better as a 3-year-old anyway. She came into the season so late, and to race at the level she has so far, she had to move though. That's the thing I like, is there are certain times you have a horse in New Year's position and they just stay locked inside. But Callahan had to make one move, and that was go first over. And you know what? It could have got her the check.
I didn't hit the drive. It was fine. Yeah. The drive was fine. There was nothing wrong with it. She just wasn't good enough, But neither was some of the other chalks on the inside. So.
Well, they were also overused.
Well, you got to go. I mean, you know, you're racing for 600,000. They're gonna go. They're gonna race. So, you know, 2 races, 2 prices. A huge pick 4.
I feel so stupid. Well, because I was talking about, Reflect With Me probably sits off the speed, and it's going to set up for speed. I think Alicorn.
$1,800 pick 4 for 20 cents.
Oh, wow. And that was what, a 100,000 guarantee, or was it a 50,000 guarantee?
50, I think 50.
Yeah. Tomorrow is all the big guarantees. A couple $100,000 guarantees on the multi-race wagers.
But we have more to go.
2 more finals.
2 more finals. Yeah, if we could ever stay online, that'd be.
Things are running smoothly right now.
It looks like we're back up on Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah. But we have no Rod. And now he decided
It's probably smoother that way. It'd be much easier if he was here with us. It's not that we don't like Rod. It's just it's so hard to micromanage all of that. But here we see the winner's circle presentation for Reflect With Me. Ooh, the juicy details. 56.20 to win here on Reflect With Me. 1270, 750 to show. Lion Sentinel 260, 230, and then the 7 Marlowe Hanover 1220. $2 exacta of 8-1, 179.80. $1 try, 817, 1,249.50. The $1 super, 6,042.50 if you had it. The pick 3, 9, 10, 8, 1,974.15. And Mike said the pick 4 for 20 cents, 1,800, but for $1, almost 10,000.
I got the first 2, but not the second 2. But what I say, this is the best betting. If you can get
Live money in the pick 5.
yeah, if you can get to these horses, you're gonna get paid this week.
Look at that smile.
It's great.
Andy is one of the best
That's
smiles
he's
in the
2
game.
for 2.
Yeah.
Is he any good? He's gonna win them all.
I walked past Alanya when I was in the paddock, and he had that typical Alanya smirk, but he was smirking a little extra. He knew. He had good horses coming into the race, and that's the thing with Tony. We see this a lot with his horses. They kind of fly under the radar because they have bad setups. They get a setup, and people forget that they're good horses.
And both of these horses were bet last week.
Yeah.
You know, the horse was 1-2 the first. You know, you got 14-1 last week. This horse was the favorite against Priceless and everything else, and now you get $56. So, what was the big difference between last week and this week?
Well, this week there were a lot more favorites to bet.
Yeah, but the posts were outside. I mean, you know, but these horses, you know, weren't all of a sudden 20-1 and 15-1 against these other horses. I mean, they just got lost in the board, and that happens a lot in these big races. Horses get lost, and that's what happened to these 2. So, but McCarthy didn't get lost. So,
No, he did not. And just like that, we come back.
and Rod, I don't think he's coming back. He's mad. Can't hear me. I only hear echoes. Losing Wi-Fi. Rod's gone.
I feel like we can loosen now. It only took us maybe what we should have learned is that if we wanted to be on for 4 finals, we should have been on for 2 of the other races to get everything worked out.
No, we were busy screwing around.
I was eating stale chicken fingers.
Yeah. They were free.
They were free.
It only cost me $1,500 to get them.
Well, right now we're going to get ready to send it to the winner's circle, where Chad Rosema is with the connections, Tony Alanya and Andrew McCarthy.
Stop, how does it feel?
Well, you know, when Ramona won, I had to go out and warm up Captain Midnight, so Andy was nice enough to win another one so I could get my picture taken, so that was nice of him.
He's a good guy like that, isn't he?
He's very good that way.
Did you think this filly coming into this, you know, all the focus was on so many of those, you know, speedsters on the inside. Your filly doesn't really have a bad line on the resume. So I know the board reflects saying she didn't have a shot, but you probably felt she had a pretty big shot.
You know, Andy and I talked about it beforehand. We'd actually talked about it when the draw came out. I said, you know, the beauty of it is there's a lot of speed inside of us. You know, our other filly made a break behind the gate, and I think she would have probably helped the pace a little bit too. But, you know, she had a pace to close into, and that made the difference, and that's what was able to get her the win.
When I spoke to you at the post position draw on Tuesday, you seemed to sort of have a confidence that you had a pretty good lineup for these 2 days.
I thought so. You know, a lot of times, you know, you go into it and you have the favorite going into the race, you know, and you put a little bit of undue pressure on yourself. But, you know, we felt we had good fillies and good colts that maybe didn't win their elimination, but they were solid. And we knew that we had horses that had been solid all year. And if things worked out, we could get a win. And we've gotten 2 so far.
Well done. Enjoy it. All right, we'll bring in Andy McCarthy. Hey, you got the hang of this, don't you?
Apparently,
Yeah.
you know, fortunate enough to drive these killers. You know, this filly raced so good last tonight. Yeah, she raced really good last week too in the elimination. Was just a little too far back off slow fractions. When I seen 53 pop up, you know, I was still a little worried being 4th over, but I knew she'd have a good enough kick in the stretch to at least run into some money. But she dug and dug and dug, and you know, she was a little tired at the wire, but she just kept on pacing.
When you read the program page, you looked at, you know, these fillies well. Did you just think this was a race where you were going to get that speed to chase?
Yeah, it looked like that. You know, I kind of figured Priceless would gun off the gate, and then you know, Timmy would have to make a call there to you know, not letting get too easy a fraction. So it kind of worked into our hands a little bit that way. You know, I figured that it'd be a pretty good first half.
Well done, buddy. Good luck the rest of the way.
All right, thanks, Chad.
All right, we're going to bring in one of the co-owners, Brad Grant. Also a good start for you tonight, my friend. A pair of wins. Exciting for you, especially because it's right here. I mean, this is your backyard.
This is great. I don't have to carry those trophies too far to get them home.
Talk about the effort of this filly here. When she started to roll, were you thinking, I think we might have another one?
Well, when she got pushed 4 wide there, I thought, oh, God. But, you know, Andrew had all the faith in her, and she kept coming and coming, and I didn't know whether she got there, but the consensus in the dining room was that she did, so I listened to them.
You made your way downstairs.
I made my way downstairs, yeah.
Well, maybe if you could put it in perspective of your own terms, what it's like to be here with the Breeders' Crown and obviously to win it, but just the whole atmosphere.
It shows what Woodbine Mohawk Park has done and what they're trying to do here. And I think we're showing the racehorse standardbred world that we are a #1 facility. And to win it in my own hometown, on my own track, and I want to share it with everybody. It's great.
Well, we're happy to have you here. Happy for your success, and good luck the rest of the way, Brad.
Thanks very much.
All right, reflect with me with an upset tally in the 2-year-old filly pace final.
All right, so there's the replay of Reflect With Me after all of those interviews. Andrew McCarthy, Tony Alagna, Brad Grant, and of course Chad Rosemont, and then Reflect With Me at 27-1, taking the final for the 2-year-old pacing fillies. Bring me back up here. There we go. Smoother ships is sailing into race number 8, the $786,000 final of the 2-year-old Colt and Gelding Trot. So far, the trend of the night has been these races are much better betting opportunities than people might assume just looking at the form, because they go, oh, Lion Sentinel, that's an A-plus horse. She is an A-plus horse, but with a B- setup, the average is, I mean, it's still an A-. Like, I would take an A-, but an A- is not a win. It's like a second, a third. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Were you not a teacher?
No, I mean, we talked about this part of the race that, you know, I personally thought she wasn't really being bet very hard. And, you know, it's happened in both races. The favorite came calling, and they just got picked off late. You know, the front end hasn't held all night long, and, you know, you got to finish the race to win it here. And there's a lot of horses. The horses that are finishing right on the wire are the ones that are winning. It doesn't matter their price. So, you know.
And this next race,
this
just going off of the elimination,
extremely difficult race.
This is an extremely difficult race. Again, the 2-year-old Colt and Gelding Trot, where we have Real Cool Sam with post 9 entering off the bye. You and I were talking about this in the car. You feel like the fact he has not raced in, it's not necessarily
2 months.
It's not one race in 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he still won over Lexington, and I was saying to you, the only reason why he almost lost was because they just didn't get rolling quick enough. It wasn't a fault of the horse. It was just it was the trip.
But you have a horse that's 6-5 that has one race in 2 months, albeit undefeated, but it has an outside post that's going to have to come from off the pace and get us set up to win. So, do you really want to take 6-5 on horses like this? No, you really do not. I mean, can he win? Of course he can win. He's been winning all year. He's never lost. But this is an extremely difficult spot, and we've seen that all night. Everybody's trying. Everybody wants the big money. You shouldn't take short prices on horses like this. So, what about a horse like Moonbridge? I think that horse has an interesting chance in the race moving inside. Right now, you're getting 20-1. Amigo Volo broke his last 2 starts. Now you're going to take 3-1 on a horse that's ran 2 races in a row. So I think that the money is on very unreliable horses here, which makes this race, a possibility of another upset. So. Now, who is this race sponsored by?
Oh, I am so glad that you asked. I love when people ask me these questions.
Yeah.
It's of the same part of how was your day? Have you eaten?
How was your day, Ray?
Where do I begin? Folks, before we get to the sponsor is very important because they're allowing us. They've actually bribed Rogers to make sure we don't get taken down by whatever forces from beyond. I assume magnets. People really underestimate the power of magnets. I think at this point I'm just trying to think of what outlandish thing could possibly be trying to interfere. But you and we were in Toronto this afternoon, downtown Toronto,
right,
hanging around, and we had the full-fledged Toronto experience.
Right.
We sat in traffic.
You were holding road signs.
We sat in traffic.
We got crushed by Ubers.
We sat in traffic.
There was a lot of things that went wrong.
But the most fun, we're saving that for tomorrow. I'm saving all of the special stuff we shot for tomorrow because, A, that stream will not be going down for certain, or else I will take this foot and find places to shove it. That's not a threat. It's not a threat. It's more so a suggestion to myself.
Okay.
Because people say, Ray, you're not assertive enough. I see you, and I just want to walk all over you, which most of the time I'm standing up when they're saying this. So I'm wondering, how are they going to walk on me? They going to do one of those MC Escher kind of things?
You are kind of tall.
I'm very tall. And then my hair compensates for that to make me taller. Have you ever seen a lion? Now you're a lion. He's a lion. Lions, okay?
Okay.
They wouldn't be scary if not for the giant cloud of fur coming out of their skulls.
Oh, so that's what you're going for?
Here's my reason why.
You do have quite the lion look with this mane that you have going.
And I only tell the truth. Here's the reason why, though. You see a little pet kitty cat. Pet kitty cats, baby lions. But you're not scared of them because they don't have the skull fur. They just have the little kind of coat all around their body.
Right.
But the lions, they roar out their head. And that leads me to our sponsor for Race 8, the 2-year-old Colton Gelding Trot, an organization that will really have you roaring
Go for it.
to bet. Let me introduce you to Game Advisors. Now, we've been introducing you to some places you may not have heard of before, but there's a reason why we're bringing it up this time. It's because it's your fault for not knowing these places exist. They are what we call wonders of the internet, i.e. things that have not been found by people who should find them. That's a great way to put it because you're not calling the audience stupid. Game Advisors, you see, has revolutionized the premium sports picks industry. Now, I understand the sports picks industry. I pick in sports. I've picked my nose once in a while. Both are fairly simple, but a bit more complex when investigated and analyzed. What Game Advisors does with their brand new Game Advisors advice system. They take valuable input from sharp bettors and they run it through some wizardry. Look at this wizardry they run it through. They put numbers into cubes. The cubes turn into colors. The colors turn into people standing in front of holograms with internal experts. And then it goes through what I believe is God, and God gives you what to bet. But you have to join now. You're saying, but okay, if I'm getting picks from what looks like God, and I only say looks like God because I believe God, if anything, would be a sphere of light and or a cube. You're getting free advice from sharp bettors through an extensive algorithm and tech wizardry, all for your sports betting pleasure. And this is only through Game Advisors. Again, to join now, it's free. 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 That spells free. I can't. Someone else has that already. They have that jingle. Someone bought that jingle. But Game Advisors is helping to provide us coverage of Race 8, the 2-year-old Colt and Gelding Trot, getting ready to come onto the track in a couple of moments.
Whoa. I wish I had Game Advisors. I'm going to have actually check that out. That's the sponsor of the 8th race, 2-year-old Colt and Gelding Trot, which is about as wide open a race as you're going to see this weekend, especially when you have 2 horses that are favored that are extremely vulnerable. You know, real cool, Sam. 9 for 9, 9 hole this time. You know, 1 race in 2 months. You know, he was racing pretty regular there through August and into September, and then, you know, took some time off, and that's fine. You got to come up for the big money here. I'm just curious what kind of trip he gets in the race. These eliminations were pretty marred with different breaks and things, and you know, long shot winners. So, what does Amigo Volo do in the race? He's got a ton of talent. Draws perfect. He's been 3-5 and 1-2 his last 2 starts. So, does he run? If he does, that makes the race even much more wide open. You know, really a horse we haven't talked about is Capricornus. You know, he's in the 8 hole. He's been dancing some dances. I mean, he's 8 for 9 in the money.
That means they break.
No. He's been racing well. I mean, he raced well here in the Wildwood final. Was second to a horse that was well meant and was favored actually in that spot. Then went to Lexington and you know, wasn't quite the same. However, there are some horses that do not like it down there. It gets back to the track where the horses raced extremely well, and now you're getting a decent price. You're getting 8-1 here. So 8-1 on a horse that was 6-5 here not that long ago in September in the Wellwood final. That's where the value lies.
Now, can I devil your advocate? Can I mayo your sandwich?
Why not?
Capricornus was the favorite in the Wellwood.
Yes.
He got, you could argue a perfect setup, a bit too much ground to make up, either or, but that's a kind of trip he's most likely going to get here, correct?
I mean, he did show speed his last 2, but I do feel like he is going to be off the pace. I would agree with you, which makes me wonder, will he be behind the 9 or in front of the 9? I mean, I think that's going to determine a lot of the race. Depending on his positioning, if he ends up ahead of the 9 and the 9 has to come get him, that could make him a much more likely winner. If he has to try to run down the 9, I would say that would make him extremely, more likely to lose and more likely to end up second or third in the race.
This is almost the opposite of the last race. I thought last race Lion Sentinel was the key horse with Real Cool Sam. I just don't know if he's going to roll at the right time, because every time I've seen this horse race, Dave always waits a little bit too long to get moving. Albeit it worked for him in the Houghton. He was by far the best horse that day.
He was 1-2 in the race.
But it caught him at Lexington, which, again, Were horses really closing from Lexington? Not totally. And he had to come from that off-the-speed spot, and the horse that he dead heated with just rode a pocket trip, slid up the inside, and a lot of horses during the fortnight at Lexington were winning off trips like that. So you could argue that Real Cool Sam actually went a really tough mile in his first start in a month.
Well, then that should set him up for this race, you would think.
Yeah.
But you have to eat 6 to 5 on him. I mean, what about a horse like the 7?
Third shift?
Yeah, I think, this horse is overvalued. He doesn't look like he's shown, the huge miles on paper that some of these others have, but he's in the right barn. He raced extremely well last time, I thought, off the bench. I mean, this horse had missed a month, has done well, in those New York Sire Stakes. You really don't know how good this horse is. And he is more likely to be closer to the pace, I think, than some of these others, especially the 8 and the 9. This horse could gun early, end up in the pocket, and have a big chance. You're getting 17 to 1. I mean, got a 20, whatever it was, to 1 the last race. You had 13 to 1 the race before. These long shots have a chance. So, including the 2, who's 14 to 1 that just won the elimination. So,
Synergy's not taking any money.
no, didn't take any money last week with 17 to 1. Moonbridge right now is 24 to 1. The horses they're betting are the ones that are fast but have quirks. So, do you want to take 5 to 2 on Amigo Volo off 2 straight breaks?
No.
I mean, I think that's really, if you do that, good luck to you. I mean, the horse could win. And I like Real Cool Sam as a horse, but I'm not sure that I want him in this spot at this price.
If he stays flat, I feel the horse in the race is Chestnut Hill. This horse has been good from the start.
Okay.
Last out broke at the gate. Not a good sign coming into this.
No.
He's 9 to 1 right now, which isn't a terrible price, but he's typically in that mid-pack spot. And there's not a lot of late trot on the horses that have speed here, so it could set up for a horse coming from the middle of the pack.
But I feel like if it's going to be one of those, it's going to be the 8 or the 9. I mean, I don't see how the 5 wins the race. I mean, you're looking at he is third back, gets a driver switch, but he's a very soft on the win end for me. Can he get a piece? Maybe. I don't know. He's just not showing up on my radar as like some of the others are anyway.
But Real Cool Sam's 6 to 5 right now.
Yep.
Because the fact that Synergy's not
Even
taking
money.
The fact that Synergy's not taking any money makes me think that, as I was saying earlier, people thought he was I shouldn't say a fluke winner. It's just he had a perfect trip.
Yeah.
You need a perfect trip again.
You had the favorite run in the race,
Yeah.
so that made a big difference in there.
I feel like the only other horse we haven't talked about, aside from Port Perry, which I'm not sure there's really much to talk about with Port Perry.
I mean, the horse is fast, was decent in the super final, but lost to Moonbridge. Gets McClure back. Was fair in the Wellwood. Was bad in the race. The horse has raced well at this racetrack. I will say that. The horse has a lot of speed. I will say that. And you're getting a big enough price to speculate if you're interested. I mean, you're getting 14 to 1. We've already seen a 10-hole winner already tonight. He's just okay for me. I just feel like that he's going to be very vulnerable late and probably from this post really struggle.
The horse I was trying to allude to, though, aside from Port Perry, Rome Pays Off. My dad really likes Rome Pays Off.
Okay.
I understand he's coming out of that Synergy elimination, so it's kind of tough to gauge his ability, what he's going to do, where he's going to go, all of that jazz.
Okay.
But in that elimination, 29-1 final quarter, I'll give you that. Came home in 28. In total, gained 13 lengths the whole mile. Typically can get into a stalking spot, but the point I bring him up for is in the exotics.
Okay.
35 to 1 you're getting on a horse that tends to roll into the race late. Horses have been rolling into the race late. I'm not sure how speed holds here, and he's flat consistently. And the fact that he stays flat consistently also makes him appealing to the wind end on a certain extent, because what if Chestnut Hill breaks again? What if Amigo Volo breaks again? What if Real Cool Sam gets moving too late?
That's a lot of what ifs, but do you really want the 6 as opposed to the 9 here? I don't know.
I feel like the 9's a better closer.
The 9's a better horse.
Yes.
However, I obviously we've talked about every horse. The race is extremely wide open, so so you have to take a price. If it's wide open, you have to take a price. And for me, I don't mind Moonbridge at 30-1. I don't mind Third Shift. That's the other odd horse at 22-1. And I think that the 8 is value at 7-1. So those would be my 3.
Yeah, it's tough to see Real Cool Sam not getting a piece of it at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think he can get a piece, but this might be a good super race here.
Having to leave out like Amigo Volo.
Yes, I would leave him completely out. I don't want him. I mean, and like I said, he's talented enough to win. I just don't want him. I'd rather have a horse like your 6 there to really spice up that super, hoping that the 4 decides it's going to run again.
I'm just wondering in terms of supers and such if Moonbridge is put into play.
I don't mind him. I mean,
He has to lead.
do you think so?
Well, there's no speed in the race. There's so little speed in the race. There's beads.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not worried about that one, but Synergy can leave.
Who can leave?
Synergy. I mean, Yannick leads with everything. He could leave with a goat.
But Synergy also has this issue where he can't finish a mile.
I know that, but you're looking for the speed in the race, and I'm telling you the 2.
Okay, that's fair enough. And presuming he's still that horse, we see speed that will falter.
Yeah, and I think that the 7 is another one that could be in the race early, especially with Ock driving. I mean, there's no reason why he's not going to send this one. They're getting ready to go.
Yes. We have 51 seconds.
Even money, Real Cool Sam, trying to go 10 for 10.
We are on a fairly sizable delay, so keep that in mind for those who are betting along with this broadcast. So final thoughts, you're on Real Cool Sam, Capricornus, and who's the third horse for your top?
No, I like Third Shift.
Third Shift.
Yeah. Moonbridge. Those are my long
I like
shots.
Moonbridge more than Third Shift.
Okay. I mean, you're getting very similar prices.
But ultimately, to me, it's whether Real Cool Sam gets moving at the right time or if someone beats him to the wire, because that's the only way he can lose. Is if he's beaten to the wire. But that's how most horses lose. It's when someone else gets there first. Not really a profound statement. Coming up next, here at Woodbine Mohawk Park, 3 Wide presents live coverage of the 2-year-old Colton Gelding Trot Breeders' Crown Final, presented by Game Advisors. Real Cool Sam, currently the favorite at even money. Second choice at 5-2, the 4 Amigo Volo. 2 choices at 7-1. Chestnut Hill and Capricornus. Full field of 10. Behind the gate and swinging into the stretch. Breeders' Crown Final for the 2-year-old Colt and Gelding Trot. Into the stretch. Approaching the start. Often trotting, McClure timed the gate with Port Perry to the outside and tries to push for the front. Inside comes Amigo Volo, and Synergy shows speed towards the pylons. Outer tier also moves out with Third Shift and Capricornus floating for top spots, beaten out though by Amigo Volo to the first turn. Third Shift secures pocket as Capricornus tries to track Svensted's helmet from third, parked by Synergy to the quarter. Port Perry then races 5th to the outside of Rome Pays Off 6th. A gap of 2.5 lengths back to Beads Racing 7th. 8th away, Real Cool Sam the favorite. Leading Moonbridge second to last, and trailing here Chestnut Hill past a 26-4 opening quarter. Up the back stretch, Amigo Volo under a firm hold by Dexter Dunn, trying to ration the speed towards the half mile, tracked by Third Shift from the pocket. Racing third, Capricornus, then Synergy fourth is now from the back. Real Cool Sam pushes first over, now races into sixth through a 55 3/2. 28-4 that second quarter of the far turn. Amigo Volo begins to scoot clear of Third Shift, now leads by about 2.5, the margin growing. Capricornus third, as inside Synergy locked in by Real Cool Sam, who is not advancing to 3/4. Rome Pays Off, vacates pylons to track that cover. Then inside comes Port Perry towards the back. Moonbridge trying to fan around Real Cool Sam, but Amigo Volo's gone. 124 the 3/4 into the stretch. Done on Amigo Volo, leads by 5. Third Shift gives pursuit from Capricornus to the inside, diving through a seam. Outside comes Synergy, as now Capricornus veers outside, coming towards the 8th pole, but they're all chasing Amigo Volo, who vaulted clear of them. Amigo Volo strolling to the finish as Rome Pays Off rallies for second, Chestnut Hill third, but Amigo Volo hits the line in 154 3 to take the Breeders' Crown 2-year-old trot. Ray Catolo was mentioning Rome Pays Off as an exotic horse, and at 36-1, Rome Pays Off hits the exotics. Downside, none of us gave Amigo Volo the credit.
Wow, I didn't want him. He's obviously talented, like we talked about.
But what was the other thing, too? You and I were saying, what's the speed?
Right.
What's the speed?
And it was him.
There was the speed.
Yeah.
No one could catch him from there.
And Real Cool Sam at even money, really, I don't think he got any of it, did he?
I don't think so.
He might have got 4th.
Maybe 4th.
Yeah. 5 was 3rd. You liked him also. I wasn't real
Yes.
crazy about any of these.
Chestnut Hill and Rome Pays Off.
Yes. It was a total dud for me there. I really,
Those two breaks. I mean, the break in stride he had at Lexington wasn't really troubling because he got a little headstrong, then veered wide. It was barely a break. I was surprised they called it as a break in the chart. I didn't see the elimination last week where he broke.
Ran early. Yeah, Real Cool Sam 4th.
4, 6, 5, 9, the unofficial top 4 here.
Good call in the 6.
5-2 over 36-1 over 6-1 over even money. At the very least, we had the Wi-Fi stay on long enough to tout that one to a certain extent.
Oh yeah, the Wi-Fi's working now that Rod isn't on it. Rod, perhaps you could show up tomorrow. We need you.
Hey, I see Garnett's son
We need you, Rod.
walking in the grandstand right now. And there goes Chad Rosamond.
Where are you, Rod?
Hey, Chad.
Rod, why have you deserted us?
Dude, where's my rod?
Oh, I don't know.
Uh-oh.
I'm not looking for it. That's junk.
One more final to go here as we await payoffs from the 2-year-old Colt and Gelding Trot.
This was presented by
Game Advisors.
Game Advisors, yeah. That was quite the presentation for Game Advisors.
That was quite the presentation. All really great races so far.
Yeah, that's anything you can want.
Yeah.
Big fields, great action, big prices, legit racetrack. I mean,
Decent food,
look,
acceptable Wi-Fi. Tim Hortons.
mediocre
Tim is the
Wi-Fi.
adjective.
Mediocre Wi-Fi.
Tim is the adjective. Hortons is the noun.
Yeah.
How would you describe Hortons? It's very Timmy.
Okay. I like the winner's circle.
It is very nice. It's got those little lights.
Yes. They built a fence and put up a sign.
What about the fence? Is that all you cared about was the fence?
Yeah.
You looked at it and you went, that's a real firm oak. It could be spruce. Mahogany?
I don't
What kind
know.
of trees grow around Canada?
I don't know.
If Phil's
Maple.
listening, he can tell me.
Maple.
It's not all maple trees.
Well, there's pine. I see pine.
You're like one of those guys that comes into Canada and they say, oh, what are you looking for? And then you say, surgery.
No.
Oh. Look at all those smiles.
Yeah. When you win a $500,000 race, you should be happy.
More than that.
Well, 500 US. 600.
600 US.
Yeah.
The 2-year-old finals are massive.
Presented by the Hambo Society. Well, that horse was good to go tonight. Dexter Dunn, what a shock. Yeah, he any good?
So far, no American drivers have won tonight. In the Breeders' Crown Finals, at least.
We still got a bunch left. We got one more final.
And then 8 tomorrow.
Yeah. A lot of good races tomorrow.
12 races tomorrow total.
Yeah, all the homework's done. However, I forget where I had this horse picked. I know I didn't have any 6.
We'll give you prices, and then we'll dive into the final race here of our coverage. The 2-year-old colt and gelding pace. But first, Amigo Volo returns 710 to win, 510 to place, 360 to show. Rome pays off 2240, 1060 in the 5 Chestnut Hill 450. $2 exact, the 4-6 returns 122.30. Dollar try 465, 252.70. The Superfecta with Real Cool Sam 4th, 985.35, and the dollar pick 3, 1084, $1,700 over 20 cents, 358.92.
Pick 3s have been good tonight.
All the bets have been very good tonight. One more to go here for us. Still more races afterwards.
Oh, and this is the Poppy Rob Hanover versus...
That's the wrong race pulled up. That's my bad. It's not race 8. Race 8 just went. We want race 9. Bring it up. Look at that. The magic of television when it does not want to destroy your livelihood. The Poppy Rob Hanover race. Well, this has been our coverage of 3 wide from the Breeders' Crown. Poppy Rob, does he...
It's him against Captain Midnight against Tall Dark Stranger.
That's true. They could tussle. They could do a little old-fashioned Jimmy jab, if you will.
Right, whatever that is.
You never heard of a Jimmy jab?
No.
Did you ever go to grade school?
No.
Did you go onto the tarmac of your playground?
No.
Did you ever get socked in the face?
No.
Would you like to?
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm scared to do anything. But Poppy Rob Hanover, the 3, the morning line favorite at 8-5 here with Dave Miller, part of Brett Pelling's continual comeback in North America after Rock and Roll Hanover in 2005. Brett,
19 minutes to the race.
yeah, after 2005 in Rock and Roll Hanover, Brett Pelling went back down under to Australia. He's been back here, I think, 3 years now.
Yeah. Maybe more.
And he's returned to the Breeders' Crown here with Poppy Rob Hanover. He won his elimination.
It was excellent in that race.
In hand in 150 and 2, went right to the front, heading to the half, kept the going up through the finish to win by a length and a quarter, which, when watching the Metro pace, you had to figure that Poppy Rob was as good as Tall Dark Stranger because he was gaining on him in the stretch, and Jingra had a call on him.
And he had a terrible post that day, and he really overcame a lot there. You know, to be second, I thought, in a hugely fast race. I mean, that was a 49 and 1 mile. Up here is, you know, exceptional. They weren't even going that fast at Lexington. Yeah, and this horse has done nothing but get better since then. So, has a post edge on the other 2 horses. Yeah, he's the one to beat. I mean, there's no question about it. You know, beat Tall Dark Stranger last time. That was his first loss. So, you know, if you like that horse, you're getting a better price now. You're getting 5-2 on a horse that basically was 1-9 almost every week. You know, this is pretty much a showdown between those 2. And then you throw Captain Midnight in there, you know, who was 3rd in the Metro to those 2. Prior to that was, you know, winning the Grand Circuit races here at Woodbine. Went to Lexington and crushed in 49 and 4. You know, that horse has a puncher's chance also. I think it's those, you know. I think Allywag Hanover has a chance to maybe fill out the Super just because of the post switch and overall talent. You know, connections are very strong there.
Connections for sure, because that's Casey Coleman, who typically has decent 2-year-olds coming into any sort of Grand Circuit event. The one thing I don't like has really not been in most of the Grand Circuit races. Did make the final here, despite that post draw in the elimination, but missed the Metro final. Did at least win in that overnight when entered. That's a positive. When you see a horse drop in class to get a race in, and they at least show that I'm better than everyone here on the ground.
And that horse that he beat that day, that was Beaumont Hanover, who's won 2 straight at very short odds and fast times, going in a series here. So, that horse is legitimate. Maybe not as legitimate as these other ones that it's facing, but, you get Tetrick now, inside spot. You're going to get 30-1 to maybe finish third here. He has interesting possibilities for me, especially one of these favorites maybe doesn't show up.
Pace. Yes. Poppy Rob Hanover, okay?
Yeah.
You thought you lost me, you didn't lose me. I'm not brain dead yet. We still have tomorrow to get through. But Poppy Rob Hanover, okay? Got the lead heading to the half in the elimination. However, how does Captain Midnight tend to race?
I mean, he's close all the time. He's usually sit and then get the front. So sit and make that early move and roll late.
They both can't do that. So then what I'm wondering, Poppy Rob Hanover, Captain Midnight, Tall Dark Stranger, all to this point one-dimensional. Maybe Tall Dark Stranger a bit more versatile because you see a couple of different lines other than just going to the lead, because he had the line coming first over, I think. Yes, first over in that division of the Ontario Sire Stakes Gold a couple months ago, as a matter of fact, August 16th. But here's the caveat to the point I brought up. Poppy Rob Hanover does not have to race on the lead. And that's what makes him such a tough favorite. Because Poppy Rob could go for position.
I just don't think that there's very much between these 3 horses. They all lined up in the Metro final and were 1, 2, 3. With Tall Dark Stranger getting the best of both of them. And, the lead was diminishing, though. Poppy Rob Hanover was getting there, just could not overcome the trip, could not overcome the post. Whereas last week, a little bit closer, got moving a little bit earlier, and was able to track that favorite down. So, and I think that's why this horse is improving maybe. The other ones are regressing just a bit. It's hard to say that about Captain Midnight. I mean, this horse has raced extremely well all year. And Tall Dark Stranger just finally lost one. So they're all extremely good horses that have a chance depending on trip. And you're right, they all can't be in the same spot. They all could hook up though, and that's going to make the race very interesting.
And remember too, what won Tall Dark Stranger the Metro was Captain Midnight making that premature move. Rolled around to the front during quick fractions, into the stretch, had that uh-oh moment of just realizing what they did, and then Tall Dark Stranger went right by, and then Poppy Rob Hanover also benefiting from that setup, showed a ton of late pace to get second. So it's possible they can go 2 ways. Captain Midnight pulls a similar move, or they're more cautious this time around.
I don't know. I mean, there hasn't been much caution tonight. I mean, everybody has gone and gone fast. So I don't expect that. I don't expect a soft pace in here. I expect the 3 best horses to go to see who's the best. I expect fast fractions, and I expect a real pace and a real race. So what about Catch the Fire?
When he was down at Lexington for the Kentucky Sire Stakes, he had a really big mile, but it was off a pocket trip.
Those are fast races. That wasn't a pocket trip. That horse got the front early and continued on and rolled and won late.
Oh, that's the final. I was talking about the prelim.
Okay.
That's what I remember. But I'm glad you pointed that out, because I totally forgot that he went to the front in the final and won like the best horse. Right. So, from post 9, you have to think Wilder was up here for 2 drives. This is the second one.
Right. Well, we scratched off another, but okay. Yeah.
He's up here for one drive. He has to go.
No.
Really?
I don't think so.
Okay. Why?
Excuse me. He never goes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a different setup here. And if you looked, when he faced Captain Midnight in that International Stallion, he didn't go. He sat. He ended up second or third early. With this post against these horses, I think he sits and tries to one punch, similar to that PA Sire Stakes Championship at Philly, where he sat and ended up coming to get third against Poppy Rob Hanover. You know, this horse is capable of sub 27 kickers, and with something like that in here, this horse could definitely get a check. So, you know, there ain't too many horses that can do that in here. I mean, the favorites can, obviously, but, you know, of the other ones, he's the one that interests me maybe from the back a little bit. So, let's look at some odds right now. We got, okay, 4 to 5 on Poppy Rob Hanover. Pretty short for me. If you like Tall Dark Stranger, you're getting 5 to 2. And 4 to 1 on Captain Midnight. Right now, Catch the Fire, Mike Wilder, 22 to 1. Allywag Hanover, the other horse we liked underneath, 22 to 1. So fairly even for the long shots underneath. The favorites are close, with Poppy Rob Hanover getting most of the money currently, but I would expect maybe those three to even out just as the race comes closer to post. I mean, you got about 9 minutes here. I'm not sure what Ray's doing.
I'm trying to fix it so that way we can have the feed the paddock.
And I think Rod just went to bed.
Look at that. Now we have
Wow.
the paddock clearly at the bottom so people can see where the horses are at as we approach post time. And I can just go down here, grab my program, and just drop it again. Why are we still here? We've been sharp in terms of handicapping.
I don't know. I haven't been that sharp, to be honest.
Okay, I've been sharp.
I was okay early in the card, but these big races, I have not been sharp. I really didn't like the horses that won all three of the races. I have to say, I wasn't a fan of any of them, so that shows you how much I know.
So why am I listening to you?
I mean, you've been better than I have. There's no question about it.
Yeah, I have been. So, what does Ray Catola think? Ray thinks that, okay, so if I pull out my wallet, right? And I look inside, this is such a great idea. You think to yourself, wow, Ray, how'd you get that 100 Canadian?
How?
Well, I put in 50 US. Oh no.
Yeah, this is like taped together. This is a false forgery. This ain't even the right person on here.
I can't believe that I just got robbed on my own show.
How long you been saving that for? Birth?
No, well, first things first, this is, of course, everyone remembers the King of Canada,
Okay.
Rodrigo Mandibel.
That's not who it is.
He was elected, believe it or not, king in 1704 of the Dominion of Canada.
Don't even pay any attention to any of this.
If Phil is listening, he was probably groaning
Guys, Phil's
at
gonna
how
be on the
wrong
side.
my Canadian history
We're gonna
is.
be canceled here soon.
Why, what have you done in your personal life? Have you stolen a tractor? It's good.
Somebody needs to steal something.
Dexter stole that last race.
No, he didn't steal it. He freaking took it by the teeth and murdered it.
Yeah, he grabbed a club and hit a home run. I really don't like what I've become.
I never liked what you were. Well, at least we got the sweep. I mean, you know.
Night 2 is going to be better than night 1.
Well, yeah, because we'll have Rod here.
And
So
we'll have all of our equipment.
that would be ideal. Perhaps better internet.
And we'll be working with Woodbine Tech.
Ah,
I've sent my messages.
have you?
Yes.
Fantastic.
To make sure that all precautions are taken for tomorrow night to be the extravaganza it deserves to be.
If you were following my picks tonight, Sorry. It's been brutal.
I don't even know how my Meadowlands stuff is doing right now.
We have plenty of time to check that later. We only got one more race.
Yep. 5 minutes to post.
If you're interested, pick 4 starts here, late pick 4. So there is a ticket posted on the website. Feel free to use what you like or not like from that. It's actually not a bad sequence. There's 3 overnight races following this that are fairly wide open. So
It's a fairly confident advertisement of what you're saying.
It's a good sequence.
Oh no, the sequence, yes, but the idea of go to NAHUpicks.com, use what you will. If you don't like it, you can email us if you hate what we do. I don't know why people don't do that.
I don't really get a lot of hate mail, actually.
I want more.
I get more positive than negative, usually.
That's so unusual because typically people
Or yeah, you suck.
people won't go out of their way to say something nice, and that's what makes the people who do say something nice feel 10 times better.
Right.
But also, there's something fun about the mean stuff.
You want to be mean?
I don't want to be mean. I just want people to be mean to me so that way I can feel better about what I do.
I'll tell you, you're junk. There you go. You happy? Ooh, don't touch my face. Ever.
I'm sorry.
No.
We are testing the bounds of harness racing media right now. Could you imagine if, Jason and Chad held hands?
No. They would never do that.
I should have suggested that to Luke.
Neither one of them has to put up with you. So you wanted somebody to be mean.
Race 9 is coming up here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. It's the final race of coverage we have for this evening. The final of the 2-year-old Colton Gelding Pace, and it is brought to us by our friends at Rapid Printing. If you remember when we were at Running Aces, God, it was a month ago at this point.
At least.
Yeah, for Night of Champions. The whole night, I was donning Rapid apparel, custom made for us, and that's what Rapid can do for you. Not only apparel, just prints in general. Any sort of print, apparel, upholstery, appliance. They make refrigerators. They don't make refrigerators, but point being is that they are a versatile company with many talents in printing. And
They made us some really nice stuff, too.
and they do it quickly, or else why would they be called Rapid?
Hats, hoodies. They made you a flannel.
They made me a denim jacket.
Yeah, we got all kind of good stuff from them. Really cool people up at Running Aces. Very much supportive of the show.
And of horse racing.
Yes. So the horse owners, they own a lot of horses up there at Aces, and just fantastic people. Check out their website, and Rod is very big with them also. So you can always contact Rod if you want to get in touch. With Kathy.
Of the deserts.
Yeah, and check them out. A big sponsor, big supporter of the show.
And especially with people like them who understand what we have to go through to put on these shows
Exactly.
each and every week, as well as when we go on tour and such. Their understanding and their support of the industry in general and trying to promote the industry is also why we're proud to partner with them and have them help us bring you this upcoming race, the 2-year-old Colt and Gelding Pace. Already parading. You saw the field on the race graphic, but right now parading the 7 Tall Dark Stranger. You see on the board Poppy Rob Hanover, the favorite at
Closer together now, though. Top 3 are starting to get closer. You got 2-1 now. Tall Dog Stranger, coming off that loss last time, first one ever. Little bit of a post, disadvantage, but now you got 2-1. Captain Midnight 4-1. Allywag 28-1. Probably not really a win contender necessarily, but definitely an exotics contender. And the 9, Catch the Fire 39-1. I could see that horse coming off the pace to get a piece of the ticket.
which one?
The 9.
Catch the Fire.
I don't mind him.
My thing is, every mile of his that's been good has been sitting close to the speed.
Okay, well, he's going to have to change. But, what's wrong with the PA Sire Stakes final? What's wrong with that race? Tell me. Is that a bad race?
He didn't gain a single length.
But he gained 3 positions.
Could that be because horses tired around
I
him?
don't know, but he didn't get tired. I know that.
That's a fair enough assertion, but keep in mind, he stuck to the pylons, most likely gained position at the pylons off a perfect trip, and didn't really fire as quickly as he should have, in my opinion, to be a massive factor in this race from off the pace.
Well, but I mean, they kicked home in there, and that's at Philly. The horse had a tough post and got a big check in the race, and has been decent since. I like the connections, I have to say. It's going to be tough to beat the top 3 in here. Let's just be real about this. I mean,
Particularly Poppy Rob.
yeah, I mean, he is excellent, and he's being bet like that he's, the one to beat. I don't know. I don't really think Captain Midnight, but is worth 3 to 1. But the horse has taken a ton of money and has raced very well at this place. He has made $320,000. It's hard to fault the top 3 horses in the race. I'm always price shopping, but this is really the race to do it. I don't think there's a big divide between the haves and the have-nots. So, and the 3 halves are going to dominate. So maybe exactas are the way to go. I wouldn't mind looking at exacta payoffs here.
Do you really think that a horse at like 20 to 1, 30 to 1 somehow gets into the mix? Because it seems more like you have to find which one of the top 3 is going to get there and which one of them they're going to beat. Because it seems like they're that much of standouts.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, the top 3 are, and the exactas aren't great here. Like a 3-7 exacta is about $8. So I would probably pass, and just watch. Or, try to look at Maltese, maybe beat the 3 and try to get the 5 or the 7 to win the first race and eliminate maybe 75% of the tickets, with the other 2 losing and go from there because the other races are wide open. So I don't really like to start pick 3s with chalk. Pick 3s have been a very good bet tonight because there have been prices winning. So.
But you got to keep the prices rolling. That's the tough thing. Because not all races set up for those prices. The last few have because...
But even still, in pick 3s and in Maltese, if you can get a good start, a lot of that money in the first leg tends to drive towards the favorites. So if you can beat those favorites early, that's whenever you can end up with a lot, more inflated payoffs.
Currently even money on Poppy Rob Hanover, 7 to 2 on Captain Midnight. Then Tall Dark Stranger is 2 to 1. Okay. He's the second choice. Captain Midnight's the third choice. That's interesting.
Not really. No, Tall Dark Stranger was 3 to 5 against, Poppy Rob last time. And when they were all together, actually, Captain Midnight was the favorite in the Metro. Despite an undefeated Tall Dark Stranger. And Poppy Rob had the 9-hole in that race. So that's why you got an inflated price.
A couple minutes to post here. As the odds are staying pretty firm between the main 3. I was also thinking, too, Captain Midnight, probably the second choice, or the third choice, because he has not raced in a couple weeks. His last race was in the International Stallion Stakes at Lexington, at this point, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, what's the firmness? That's not the term. But form could be in question. Although with Alanya, that's not also too big of a deal. But again, it's going to play against him when Poppy Rob comes in off a mile and Tall Dark Stranger comes in off a mile. Even though Captain Midnight has gone some pretty tough races all year and could have probably used the rest.
I mean, Alanya Barnes hot. He's got 2 out of the first 3. It's hard to fault what he does. So, I mean, who am I to question him? The horse has only 9 races this year. Lightly raced horse. Has been exceptionally good. The last time he had to face these 2 horses, he was 3rd best, but, maybe he wanted a week or 2 off. Maybe he can benefit from such things. Maybe he ends up with the perfect trip in the race. McCarthy's, driving extremely well. If you do like him, you're getting 3 to 1. I personally would want double that if I was taking him, but, I mean, you're not going to get that, so it's a sit for me. Unless, play pick fours. If you like the 3, key the 3 and play pick fours. If you like the 5, get rid of the other ones. Try to shrink down here. You don't want to triple your ticket here with these 3 horses necessarily. I think you need to kind of take a stand on either 1 or 2 of them and let the other one beat you. They all can't win. So
I'm pretty much in the same boat as you. I can't think of what to bet in this race.
yeah, I'd be playing with the pick fours, I think.
For us, it's an exhibition of who's the supreme
I
2-year-old.
would throw Captain Midnight off and probably use the 3 and the 7 here and try to get through the race with those 2, with the 3 and the 7.
42 seconds to go. Pompey Rob Hanover, the favorite at even money. Second choice then at 2-1. The 7 Tall Dark Stranger. Captain Midnight, the third choice, then at 7-2. Final race of our Friday night Breeders' Crown coverage. The 2-year-old Colton Gelding Pace. Our coverage here presented by Rapid Printing. 20 seconds till post time as the field makes their way to the gate. Trying to. Wi-Fi has been off.
Can't even get our debit machines working.
Really? Yeah, my friend works in tech, so I'm going to talk to him about it after. It's been atrocious. We got confirmation from staff that the Wi-Fi here is not good. And our debit machines haven't even gone down. Field coming to line. Poppy Rob Hanover holding it even money. 2-1 still on Tall Dark Stranger. Captain Midnight at 3-1. Field of 10 for the Breeders' Crown 2-year-old Colton Gelding Pace behind the gate. At the start, they're off and pacing with Tall Dark Stranger after the jump. Moving towards the top from the center. Cattle Wash moves for position, secures pocket to the first eighth, with towards the center of the track. Getting away third, Poppy Rob Hanover ahead of Mayhem Hanover sitting fourth. To the turn, Captain Midnight races fifth. In front of Allywag Hanover sixth, spinning towards the opening quarter. Major Bets races seventh, back eighth. Then towards the back of the pack, Freedom Warrior with Catch the Fire and Put to Right, 27-3 the first panel. Moving to the backside, Tall Dark Stranger, the Metro winner, leads by a length and a quarter, 3/4 from Cattle Wash second. Third then Poppy Rob Hanover heading towards 3/8, a gap of 4 lengths to Mayhem Hanover sitting fourth. Still fifth, Captain Midnight, yet to get rolling, while Allywag Hanover sits sixth. Seventh then coming towards the half, Major Bets, then a gap to Freedom Warrior, Catch the Fire, Put to Right, still last. As they come towards the half mile, Tall Dark Stranger in front of Cattle Wash, tightening in the pocket. Poppy Rob Hanover beginning to edge off the pylons past the half in 55-1. To the far turn, Tall Dark Stranger leads by a length and a half. Cattle Wash still second. Poppy Rob Hanover now tips outside to third, up towards second and drawing towards the pace setter coming to 3/4. Mayhem Hanover sticks towards the inside with Captain Midnight second over. Third over comes Allywag Hanover and Major Bets past 3/4. Tall Dark Stranger and Poppy Rob Hanover going to hook up in 1:23-2 into the stretch. Tall Dark Stranger and Poppy Rob Hanover. These two lead Cattle Wash with Mayhem Hanover edging off the pylons. Poppy Rob Hanover digging into Tall Dark Stranger, taking a narrow lead. Tall Dark Stranger battles back towards the pylons, coming down to the finish. Poppy Rob Hanover getting the advantage with Tall Dark Stranger to the inside. Not holding on as Poppy Rob Hanover at 6-5 takes the 2-year-old Colton Gelding Pace. In 1:51. Did I hear inquiry?
Well, the fob was running at the wire.
I also would have loved the internet could have a bit more quality of feed. I did my best off of Blur. 151 the mile time. Poppy Rob Hanover getting up on Tall Dark Stranger as we predicted.
And that's it. We're done. We'll see you tomorrow, hopefully with better circumstances.
We'll at least wait for prices and such. Poppy Rob Hanover, Tall Dark Stranger.
Gotta watch this third at 16 to 1. That's Wah.
Oh yeah.
You know.
That
horse actually raced really well last week too, to be honest.
That was the first on the board finish for Wah in any Breeders' Crown
Yeah, I mean,
this
this
year.
He's up against it a little bit with some of these, but he's still. I mean, he's very, very good. No, he's not Dexter Dunn, but he's good.
374. Man, Hanover was the surprise. And you and I were talking about the horse you likes an upset tomorrow, and after seeing that, I mean, Mayhem Hanover 83 to 1 did hit the ticket.
I was talking to Chad. I bumped into him in the hall, and he really likes Easy Lover tomorrow too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's his upset special. So the one's coming down, however, because he nearly ran over the 5. So
Nonetheless.
oh, he's claiming foul. Look at this. Look at this.
Okay, this
is
wasn't
pretty
expected.
rare.
You don't see claims of foul.
Very, very, very rarely, especially in $600,000 races.
All right. Not sure.
What's he saying? Yeah, the one's definitely coming out. McNair's always,
Judges are
just take them all out and put Wall up.
Judges are I imagine they're reviewing the stretch drive to see if Poppy Rob veered in and impacted Tall Dark Stranger's course. That's my guess. We should be seeing their angle at a certain point.
I'm sure we'll see it eventually here. The head-on would be fabulous.
Yes. 3-7-4-1 unofficially. 6-5, 9-5, 16-1, 83-1. Double inquiry here on Mayhem Hanover.
Yeah, well, the one went sideways in the stretch and killed the 5.
All right, the objection is going to be coming up in a second. We'll see it on.
They definitely come together.
Okay.
Well, this will be very interesting now.
The head on comes on.
They'll show you.
On. There it is. Okay. So inside is Tall Dark Stranger. Outside Poppy Rob Hanover. Mayhem Hanover at a certain point is going to swing. No, it's Cattle Wash.
Ooh.
Poppy.
Yeah, he's not coming out for that. That's a no. The one will come out, though.
Yes. Okay. So Captain Midnight, you can kind of see a horse just pulls in front of Captain Midnight there. Captain
Right,
Midnight's
it's the
going
one.
wider. Yes.
No, but watch
And around this time, Dave goes into Tall Dark Stranger, but really it looks like Gingras overcorrects
Yeah.
and loses ground as a result, and then Captain Midnight goes on a gallop when Mayhem Sealster goes into
I
him.
don't know if it was past the wire or not. That's the only thing with the one.
It didn't look like enough interference for Poppy Rob, though, to justify
No,
disqualification.
I don't think so. That's not going to happen. Not up here. No. No.
That's true. It's up here.
Yes. It's a no from me.
Yeah.
He could have jumped off the horse and assaulted him and probably stay up. So, like.
It really looked like Gingras.
I mean, I would try to claim 5. I would try, but I don't know.
Because here's the thing, Gingras wouldn't have to overcorrect if Dave wasn't digging into him in the first place. So did that cost him the race?
And it was a very short margin of victory. So, you have to consider that. The margin of victory matters, and it always does.
I mean, you saw how much Tall Dark Stranger veered inside. That could be enough of a margin to draw between the two.
It's a big race. I'd be very curious if they took him out.
That and also for how much longer this inquiry might hold. This could be a long inquiry.
Well, they got to sort out both of them.
Well, that Mayhem
The only
Hanover's
question
pretty
was the one is if he was past the wire. That's all there is to that.
This is going to take a little while.
Junction 7 against 3, the closing strides. You're going to see those two contact with their sulkies right there.
What's up?
I'm on assignment for Harness Racing Update right after this stream. I'm going to write my story,
Okay.
get that to Briggs.
Okay.
But here's another angle, not really as helpful as the head-on. Because the other thing to Miller's credit is when Poppy Rob goes in, he comes back out.
Yeah.
Poppy Rob was already in front though from that angle.
Well, but that doesn't matter. He came over.
He did come over. So here's my point. With how Poppy Rob was advancing, it looks like despite Tall Dark Stranger having to veer inside, he may have had the margin.
I don't think he comes out. I could be wrong, but I just don't think he does.
It's just,
I do think the one does.
Well, Hanover should come down for the interference. It's an issue of who do they think. It's almost like the judges have to figure out who they thought was going to win the race, and if it's warranted to DQ a horse for causing that interference. Also, let's keep in mind, what the hell at the Hambletonian goes into another horse. We were at the Meadowlands Pace. Custom Cantab went into another horse. This keeps happening.
They were disqualified.
Yeah.
It's taking quite a while.
Dave Miller's from the Midwest. They race a bit differently out there.
McNair's always in trouble.
Music's off.
Oh, here we go.
Is that going to be a decision?
A decision, please. Please.
Right now, everyone in the paddock's trying to figure out, too.
Oh, yeah. It's a big decision.
The inquiry's continuing.
Lots of money on the line.
It's over $400,000.
We could put some of that money into our Wi-Fi. That would be nice. Or maybe our pockets. Oh, now they're on the phone. I love how they talk to the jockeys. They say, "Did you do anything wrong?" We say no.
Yeah, McNair just went into the judge's office.
Oh, yeah. They probably should throw handcuffs on him.
This is a tough call. This is a really tough call.
I don't know what's going on there. Is that McClure?
Because it also could be that the inquiry's taking so long because they're deciding the Mayhem Hanover stuff. They could have already decided if Poppy Rob stays up. Or they could be trying to settle Mayhem first.
I don't know.
And then get to that.
We're not there. We don't know. And now we're already at 10 after 11. Street lights are on.
And they have three more races to go.
They do.
10, 11, 12, yeah.
We may never get out of here. We're going to burn the place down. Inquiry continues.
I don't think...
Maybe they'll run their next race before they decide. Bring them out for the next. Turn them loose. Rip these tickets up. Turn them loose.
I know I keep saying this, but
what do you keep saying?
Dave Miller comes inside on Yannick. Yannick reacts as a result. And so to me it seems like
when someone comes over and you're in a car, do you react?
Well, yes, my point being is I'm not racing someone on the highway. In this situation, was Poppy Rob advancing enough where that had Tall Dark Stranger not veered off course, he would still finish second? It looked like it, but at the same time, it's at that precise moment he's coming in.
Right.
As he's going by.
And he was coming back on the inside.
Like, if he got disqualified, I wouldn't be surprised. But it's tough from that sense.
I'm saying no change from my perspective.
I just don't know if they're going to give the interference as much credit as it may or may not deserve.
They're giving it a lot of credit right now.
Well,
That's a long inquiry.
For Mohawk, especially.
Yes, very long.
Mohawk inquiries are over
Or
in
like-
about like 5 minutes.
Wow, this
At
is
most.
like 10 at least.
He could come down.
I'd be shocked. I would be shocked. It'd be nice if they would tell us sometime before the end of the day. But if What the Hill can come down the Hambo, anything can happen.
That's my point. It's Dave Miller.
Name me that program.
Can someone explain to me why Dave Miller keeps doing this? Dave, buddy. Dave.
Keep a straight course, Dave. We love you, Dave. Keep a straight course, Dave. Please.
Part of me wonders if I should just pull up Hangouts and just walk around here to see what people think, like what they think should happen.
No.
Yeah.
They're
all.
gonna be done soon.
Yeah, the moment I get it set up, the inquiry is gonna be over.
I want to bet, depending on the price, in the next Cortez the Killer. Cortez the Killer.
This is a.
And then
Ladies and gentlemen,
two placings.
Oh.
He came down.
Happy Rob Hanover from first to second.
They disqualified him.
Including Bobby Rob Hanover first, placed second, causing interference to 7 Tall Dark Stranger. And furthermore, Mayhem Hanover finished fourth, placed fifth, causing interference in the stretch to 5 Hampton at midnight.
So the new order finished 7-3-4-5, 9-5 over 6-5 over 16-1 over 3-1. Tall Dark Stranger placed first in the Breeders' Crown. And that's an interesting precedent too.
Yeah, I'm very surprised. I just, you know, I mean, obviously maybe they saw something that we didn't see, or, you know, maybe, you know, there was a story that was given that, you know, we don't know about. But it was from the video. I didn't think it was enough, but they deemed it enough. So that is what it is.
Well, there was the point I kept making of, did Dave's move cost him enough ground? And you can argue that it did. And I couldn't go one way or the other on it. It was very difficult for me to decide, and because of that, I felt like that was my brain going, he has to come down.
Okay. Good call.
So Tall Dark Stranger, the unofficial winner of the Breeders' Crown 2-year-old colt pace. Poppy Rob Hanover placed second. Cattle Wash third. Captain Midnight fourth. I would not want to be around Brett Belly right now.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, that's a tough one.
That's
there.
a very tough one.
Yeah, I mean, there's really, that could have gone either way, and it went against him, and that's terrible for him. I don't like it, really. You know, the 3 proved best in the race. I don't like that. Just bad. Play by the rules.
And so far, it's been an eventful night at the Breeders' Crown. We've got knocked off and were unable to present live coverage of the 2-year-old filly trot. We came back after Ramona Hill pulled that upset to see Reflect With Me launch off cover to win the 2-year-old filly pace. The race after, Amigo Volo goes right to the front,
Crushed.
destroyed the 2-year-old colt trot, and then here,
A disqualification.
which I can't recall the last time there was a DQ in the Breeders' Crown.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. Tall Dark Stranger heading to the winner's circle to cap our evening of Breeders' Crown coverage here from Woodbine Mohawk Park.
Back tomorrow, 6:30.
6:30 start time for us. We have coverage through the whole card,
Yes.
all 12 races. Post time at 7 p.m. for the first. We'll start at 6:30. 8 Breeders' Crown finals tomorrow. All the 3-year-olds and aged competition
Two
in
pick
action.
4s, 2 pick 5s, again.
high guarantees, 100,000 mostly. I think the late pick four is guaranteed at 50,000.
Yeah.
And that's the only difference. But here's Tall Dark Stranger,
Tall Dark Stranger victorious.
the winner of the Breeders' Crown 2-year-old colt and gelding pace. And with that,
By Fashion Farms.
I have been Ray Catolo. He has been Mike Prebosi. We have had a long night. We've both been awake since 3 a.m.
Yes.
And
Tired.
the night
We're crabby.
just continued. You're crabby. I'm in good spirits right now.
You know, I would be in better spirits if things worked the way we want them to.
Presenting on his behalf.
We got
It's
things.
not the racing that bothers me. I love that.
We got things rolling to the best that we could, and we ended the night at least on an interesting note.
Breeders' Crown Championship earned here tonight.
We have 12 tomorrow here from Woodbine Mohawk Park. Different setup, full equipment, hopefully loaded Wi-Fi.
Bye.
Until then, that was really anticlimactic. That wave, that was a pathetic wave. That was such a weak wave. Like
Like the pigeons.
why is it? Don't you talk about the pigeons. That's a tomorrow thing.